All right. In this section, we'll be talking about the component of a solar inverter system. And just write solar inverter system. Solar inverter system. Okay, system. Yeah. Okay, when we are talking about a solar inverter system, we are talking of four major components. Four major components, which are one, the solar side. We talk of the solar panel. The solar panel. The solar panel. Two, talk about the inverter. The inverter. The inverter. Inverter. Three, talk about the battery. The battery. The battery. Yeah. Then four, talk about the solar charge controller. Solar charge controller. Solar charge controller. All right. Then aside all the four components highlighted, we have the complementary side of it. Call it the balance of system. Balance of system. Balance of system. When we talk about balance of system, talk about the protection devices. The protection devices. Talk about the breakers. The breakers. Talk about the regulators. The regulators. We'll talk about the monitoring devices and diverse other components that makes up a whole solar inverter system. Yes. All right. So quickly, number one, we talk about the solar panel. What does a solar panel do? The function of a solar panel in a solar inverter system is that solar panel converts the energy of the sun, the radiant energy from the sun, to a useful form of energy, which is DC, to charge up our battery. Yeah, that's just it in straight. All right. Solar panel got DC form of energy. The energy gotten from the solar panel are DC form of energy. Okay. Then inverter. When we talk about inverter, the basic function of an inverter is to convert the DC form of energy to AC. You know, when the panel absorb this form of energy, I'll still come to it. It is actually stored on battery. Let me quickly just it to battery. Battery is the storage device. The storage device, and it stores this form of energy. It stores the DC form of energy. All right. So when the sun radiates and shines on the surface of the panels, it absorbs this form of energy, and this form of energy is stored on the battery. Now, the fourth component, talk about solar charge controller. I call solar charge controller the intermediary between the solar panel and the battery. What a solar charge controller does is to prevent overcharging. It prevents overcharging of the battery and prevent automatic discharge as well. All right. Now, coming to balance of system, you know, in design, the finishing as well matters a lot. It goes a long way. So, talking about the balance of system, we have the protection device, we have the breakers, we have the regulators, we have the monitoring devices, and some other components that make up a whole system. All right. How does these four components work together? Now, the battery is the storage device. You understand? The battery has the capacity to store this form of energy. Yes, this form of energy. Now, where will it now source the DC form of energy? Now, majorly, it can be sourced from what? The panel. Or alternatively, the recent inverter they built, we have different type of panel, inverter, batteries, and solar. The inverter built that are currently in markets has the capacity to rectify. Yeah, rectification is the process of converting AC form of energy to DC. So your inverter as well has the capacity to charge back this battery, whether with gen or with nepa. You understand? The basic function of inverter is to invert, that is, convert the energy stored on battery to AC form of energy, which are used in powering our devices, the bulbs, your pumping machine, water heater, and so on and so forth. So the battery stores the energy. The energy stored can be gotten whether from the panel, or whether from gen, NEPA, passing through the inverter via the rectification process of converting AC to DC form of energy. So once energy stored on the battery, the inverter does the work of converting the stored energy, which is DC, to AC form of energy, which we use in powering our devices, both in work and office. All right. So what the balance of system does is uh, just protection. Yes, protection. Protection in the sense that if there's a surge, you understand? Yeah, let me add surge to this. Surge. Surge is still protection device. SURGE. All right. If there's a surge, if there's a short circuit, if there's over voltage, yes, input, yes, over voltage, all the balance of system will be in charge of handling that. All right. I think with this section, there is a proper clarity on what a solar inverter system really means. Now, in case you come across this and someone is telling you, okay, I have an inverter system in my apartment, in my office, we use inverter system. Yeah. What does the person try to say? What the person is trying to say is that in their place of abode, what they use is ordinary inverter and battery, and they now depend on whether grid, which is NEPA light, or generator to charge back the battery. So whatever energy quantity that the battery is able to save within that duration of period, it will supply the appliances